as we launch today. I'm reading from a chapter that I've titled The Confidence to Fail. Yeah? And it's learning without losing yourself. Failure carries a particular weight, not because it is rare, but because of what we tend to attach to it. For many people, failure doesn't simply mean that something didn't work. It quietly becomes evidence of their inadequacy, evidence of limitation, evidence that they should try less, speak less, reach less. Confident people relate to failure differently. Remember the example from a citizen that we had earlier on. Not because failure hurts them less, but because it defines them less. Failure as a teacher, not an identity. Failure is an event. An identity is a story. Trouble begins when the two are fused. Failure becomes identity. When failure becomes identity, growth stalls, and people stop experimenting. They narrow their ambitions. They protect themselves from repetition by shrinking possibilities. Confident people separate outcome from self. I failed on this journey, does not define me, that's not who I am. I am not a failure. The project failed, it's okay, but I am not defining myself as a failure. So confident people separate outcome from self. The results may be disappointing, costly, or uncomfortable, but it is not a verdict on who they are. It is merely information. And this distinction becomes easier to understand when you think about how children learn. A child learning to walk doesn't interpret falling as evidence that they are incapable of movement. They fall, they adjust, and try again. The fall is part of the process, not a reflection of who they are. No one labels the child a failure. But do you look at a toddler and say, now that you are falling, you are a failure? No one expects mastery without missteps. Somewhere along the way, adults lose this relationship with learning. Instead of treating setbacks as part of development, we personalize them, we internalize them, and a missed opportunity becomes a judgment. A poor outcome becomes a label that we work with. What once would have been feedback becomes self-definition. When failure is treated as a teacher, it is approached the way a child approaches falling, with attention, not condemnation. What didn't work, what felt unsteady, what needs to change next time. Learning replaces self-judgment. Curiosity then replaces the collapse. Failure still matters, but it no longer carries the emotional weight that paralyzes. It becomes part of progress rather than the proof of our limitation. And in that shift, confidence begins to build, not through avoidance, but through the process of understanding. Turning mistakes into growth and renewal. Growth rarely arrives through success alone. Success reassures you that your current approach is effective, but it rarely asks you to reconsider how you think, decide, or respond. Guess what does the work? Mistakes. Mistakes do that work. They interrupt momentum. Just long enough to reveal that success often hides. What success often hides? Blind spots, assumptions, and habits that no longer serve you. Confident people understand this difference. They don't dismiss their mistakes, and they don't dwell on them as well. They treat them as moments that deserve attention, but not residence. Instead of rushing forward unchanged or replaying the moment endlessly, remember the story that I shared earlier on about dismissing myself from my own evaluation meeting? Instead of rushing forward unchanged or replaying the moment endlessly, they pause with intention, not to judge but to understand. They look at what unfolded with honesty rather than self-protection, resisting the urge to edit the past into something more comfortable. So they are able to detach themselves from the situation and appraise the situation holistically, identifying identifying that as a process, not a person. And this reflective pause is purposeful. They ask questions that move them forward. What expectations shaped this decision? What signal did I overlook? What choice could I make differently with what I know now? They don't extract 10 lessons, they extract the one or two that actually matter. Insight becomes usable only when it's distilled. Don't have a bogus idea of what to do now. Make it distillable, bit by bit, and navigate the process from there. So then they re-engage. Renewal doesn't come from avoiding failure or reframing it prematurely. It comes from allowing experience to reshape judgment. Each setback adds nuance. Each mistake refines discernment. Over time, confidence grows and grows stronger. So bear with me, sorry. Not because errors stop happening, but because recovery becomes a familiar territory. Now you've owned the process, you know how to navigate that journey. And you begin to trust yourself in a different way. Not because you expect to get everything right, but because you know you can course correct without losing momentum or self-respect. The trust built through experience rather than theory is what allows confident people to keep moving forward without fear of breaking under pressure, and that is how mistakes become renewal rather than residue. So the psychological safety where learning becomes possible. I'm going to read that out now. Failure becomes destructive when learning is replaced with punishment, whether that punishment comes from others or comes from within. External survivor. So if that's your journey, what may have happened is now you may have learned how to survive. So now they learn to speak less, they learn to risk less, and they try to stay unnoticed. Energy that could have gone into creativity or problem solving is redirected towards self-protection. I'm going to pause for a minute. Someone gave me a look just now, and it almost seemed like I may be reading their story. Listen, I'm not reading anybody's story. This is a journey that we all have been or are going through and hoping to come out on the other side. You may even notice this in people who were once confident and proactive. A leader who previously took initiative begins to avoid tasks. They hesitate to make decisions or step back from responsibility. Not because their capacity or capability has changed, but because the environment has made failure feel so costly. You can see this in small moments as well. Someone notices an issue, but chooses not to raise it, remembering how a previous concern was brushed aside. A team member hesitates to suggest an idea, anticipating how it might be received. Learning then stalls, not because people are incapable, but because the environment has taught them to be cautious. Internally, psychological safety erodes in a quiet way. A mistake is replayed repeatedly, the sentence you wish you hadn't said, the decision you would redo given the chance, etc. And the mind circles the moment long after it has passed, tightening it into a personal narrative. Self-talk becomes harsh, remember? Being harshly critical, and unforgiving and relentless. In this internal climate, growth becomes difficult. Every attempt carries the threat of self-criticism. Learning is avoided not because of failure itself, but because of how painful the aftermath feels. Confident people recognize this dynamic and intervene early. What do? They cultivate psychological safety both around them and within themselves. Remember when we spoke about boundaries, internal boundaries as well, placed here. They allow errors to be examined without humiliation. They treat effort as part of progress rather than something to be mocked for being unfinished. This doesn't mean standards disappear. Expectations do remain, accountability also remains. What changes is the tone. Errors are addressed without attack, and feedback is offered without content. And in this space, reflection replaces rumination. Holding standards without hostility creates space, and space is essential for growth. Without it, even talent contracts. With it, learning becomes possible again. And when learning becomes possible, confidence has room to rebuild. Not through perfection, but through permission to do what? To keep trying. There goes an exercise for failure reframe, but I'm not going to read that. So I'm going to move on to the next session that says, when failure strengthens confidence. Again, confidence is not built by avoiding failure. It is built by surviving its impact. And there is a particular strength that develops only after something hasn't worked. There's a particular understanding that you can get only after you have failed. There's a particular person that you become only after you've tried and it has failed. There's a strength that emerges. That's not the book. It's not the dramatic kind that announces resilience, but the quieter kind that settles in slowly. It forms when you realize that disappointment can be absorbed without breaking your sense of self, that a misstep can sting without defining you, that forward movement is still possible, even when the outcome wasn't what you hoped for. Each time you fail without abandoning yourself, something internal shifts. You stop equating difficulty with danger. You stop interpreting setbacks as signs to retreat. Instead, you begin to recognize them as part of the terrain, challenging, yes, but not disqualifying. And this is how confidence deepens, not through uninterrupted success, but through continued engagement. You learn that a single moment doesn't carry the power to erase your capacity, that falling short doesn't cancel your values, your effort, or your potential, that integrity is not measured by how often you succeed, but by how you remain aligned with yourself when success is yet to arrive, or when success does not arrive. This form of confidence is less visible, but far from stable. It doesn't rely on applause or approval or reassurance. It doesn't fluctuate widely with outcomes. It rests on familiarity with recovery. The knowledge that you can lose footing and still regain direction. At its core, it rests on a simple lived truth. I can learn, I can adapt, and I can continue. Repeated over time, this belief becomes embodied. It no longer needs to be spoken or proven. It shows up in how you approach challenges, how you respond to setbacks, and how you willingly stay engaged with life, even when certainty is unavailable. And that kind of confidence, built through experience rather than avoidance, is one of the strongest forms there is. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Did you, I was going to do that. Did you want, I was going to move it for you. Do you want to join me in this chair? Okay, I'll come here. So, thank you for reading or sharing a bit of your work. I loved your book. I loved it. I learned so much of it. I have a couple of questions if you don't mind. The first one is that I love the fact that you said treat failure as toddlers, and we never have the grace, or we never give the grace to ourselves, not to treat ourselves as a toddler sometimes, when we don't know what we're doing, we're learning. Why is it that we are so harsh with ourselves?
I think being harsh with ourselves comes with the terrain. And this happens over time. Like, we just read in that book where a mistake has been almost labeled. Something that should last a moment now begins to last eternity. You see what I mean? We are harsher on ourselves because the world dictates that to us. And we don't allow ourselves to be because that is the expectation. And I like how Emmanuel spoke about expectation. He said one of the ways he does or deals with fear is to not put on so much expectation on himself. Not because he's not trying to be excellent at what he does, but he's thinking, what's the worst that can happen? And I think if we go away from this place today, with anything at all, I think the question I want, and I wish that we have at the back of our mind when we think about confidence and failing and trying and leaving is, what's the worst that can happen? He did say something about who cares. You know, who does care really? Who cares? At least you've tried and you've learned 1,000 ways how not to repeat a mistake. You're getting closer to the goal and you're not where you used to be yesterday. I've ranted on, but I hope that I've answered the question.
Thank you so much. And when we fail, we stop trying just because we want to avoid failure.
Yeah.
Would you elaborate a bit more on that?
Yeah. We stop trying because now we've attributed failing to shame. So there's the concept of, oh, now I'm embarrassed, oh, now I'm perceived in a way, oh, now this is how they look at me, oh, now this is so shameful, why did I fail? Because there's a level of expectation that you have put on yourself, or people have put on you, and you have a standard that you now have to live up with. And please don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that we shouldn't strive for excellence or try to be great at what we do. It is just saying that after I have tried and put my all into this process, I'm going to be compassionate with myself, pat myself on the back and say, at least I've tried, even if I fail. So I think that's where I'm going with that one.
Thank you so much. And you said, well, your book talks about fear not as something that you want to eliminate. Sorry, not as something you want to eliminate, but something you need to understand. Yeah. And why do you think that fear plays such a powerful role?
Because, again, fear positions you. And I think we run away from that so much that we don't even see the good in that. Because I like to think that there is good in everything. So fear isn't something that we should always be quick. I mean, we should even leverage fear. Fear is feedback. It's telling me something. When you feel fearful in your body, you need to calm down as well and ask the questions. Okay, in this space, why am I fear? Remember, one of the vital questions that you can ask yourself is the why question. Why? So if you're dealing with emotions, if you're dealing with processes, if you're dealing with projects, you want to ask yourself the why questions. Why am I feeling this way? What is this fear telling me? And that's something that we need to lean into more. It is feedback, right? Just as failure is. So how can I improve on this once you've got that feedback? But we are quick to run away from that feeling because it's uncomfortable. And I agree. I know that it's uncomfortable to be fearful. But you want to know what is the cause of this fear and where is it coming from? It might not even be something that you actually fear. It might be something that was suggested to you to fear. Do you see? As a child, your parents can stop you from putting your hand in fire. Not because it may necessarily hurt you in the way that they're thinking. You gave an example earlier. But because that's the programming, and that's how they have learned to live life. My child, I'm calling him out again, and I hope he doesn't tell me up. He would not stay in a place that's very hot. In fact, he would yank off his t-shirt. But as a parent, I'm thinking, you catch a cold, you do this, you do that. He's not caught a cold since he was 2. No, I mean, he's been ill, but from that level of exposure, he's doing okay. And so if he grows up thinking, I need to be a certain way because I've been taught to be a certain way, that can limit his interaction with the world, and that can become a fear factor for him as well. Not because as a person, that's how he's wired to be, but because he's been told to fear the cold. Do you see what I mean?
Some people, yeah. Some people say, well, a lot of people say, fake it until you make it. And in your book, you write that confidence is something that people build rather than something they're born with. Although you see a lot of confident people out there, and you're like, how can they do that? You know? Like, how can I even stand in a scenario in front of 10,000 people? What? No. So, can you explain what you mean in that specific part?
I think, again, going back to the concept of confidence, a lot of times people tend to associate confidence with it. I don't want to say personality. I want to say that they think it's, permit me to say this jargon, they think it's follow con. They think when a child is born, then the child is born confident. No. We all have the same level of bravery, right? But as we continue to grow older, something, a factor in this child's home, helps that child to harness, to fine-tune, to embrace a level of confidence that may be different from this other child. Do you see? And then you begin to see the disparity, you begin to see the difference that exists in how this child was told to approach confidence and how the other one was told to approach confidence. In different cultures, women, for example, are not allowed into some conversations. Children are not allowed into some conversations. So at an early age, they begin to hear things like that. You don't speak up. You shouldn't speak up. And they internalize that. But the person that was given the opportunity to speak up has the advantage of homing their own confidence, different from the person that was told to shut up. And so, life would happen to us differently, right? It is what we then make out of what is happening to us in terms of how do we home. Now that I have identified, and that's why we spoke about self-awareness initially. Self-awareness is the root of growth. Now that you identify that, okay, life has dealt with me in a certain way and my confidence is not shining through because I've been told to shut up as a child, my mistakes have been highlighted more than the things I did well, etc., etc. How do you then begin to fine-tune that and make that work for you?
Thank you. So, for today, you want to lead something out of the chapter that you read. And someone that feel or might feel stuck in fear right now. What is the first step that you will encourage them to take? Because it's always the first step, yeah, that leads you there.
I like that question so much, and I think I've spoken about it. Well, for whatever you're feeling, for wherever you're at, for however you want to navigate and progress, the first question is why. Just go back to your why question. And asking those questions mean that you need to sit down with yourself or with a coach, somebody that can help you explore that. But the first step to moving away from there is to begin to ask yourself, why am I so fearful? What is holding me back? You need to ask yourself those questions. You need to tap into your self-awareness. You need to know a bit more about yourself. You need to know a bit more about your strength. You need to know more about your background. What holds you back? Why am I this way? Who am I even? Yeah. You need to ask those salient, vital questions, and then you can begin to navigate from there. Identifying, okay, why am I fearful? What is going on here? And then you can say, okay, now that I've identified that, how do I work with this? How do I combat this? Who can work alongside with me on this to improve in a certain way, or however you want to approach that. But it might be a conversation with yourself first. In fact, you need to have that conversation with yourself before you go to a coach, because before you approach a coach, you must have identified the need for that.
And for the last question, sorry, I'm keeping you here hostage for in the chapter, you talk about the connection between fear and shame. And the majority of the times, we are so frightened about the shame and the opinion of others. So basically, it's just like external validation anyways, no? So I love that power. I love that idea. I thought it was powerful. Can you expand a little bit more on that?
Again, fear and shame. Along the line, someone has said this is something to be ashamed of. Or you as a person, you've interpreted a situation and decided, now I'm too embarrassed to face them. So this is something that's shameful. Or this is And I think what I would say to that is, again, going back to, if you don't go home with anything today, I think this is an important question that you want to go, what is the worst that can happen? Emmanuel said it's so powerful. He said, what happens if he doesn't do well today? Then he changes his number, he changes his country. Honestly, let's begin to think and approach life like that. What's the worst that can happen? You've done an interview, you don't get the job. What is it? So? Have you died? I was watching, I watch a lot of Instagram nonsense. And I was watching one where a lady was saying the meme then said, somebody was talking to the other person, and they were saying, oh, I'm so tired, I'm so fearful, this and that. And then the other person was saying, but are you dead? You know, they were thinking about, but that's the truth, you're still here, which means that you can still do a lot with your life. A lot can still happen today. And so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, a lot can still happen. So go leaving this place thinking, what's the worst that can happen? And really, what's the worst that can happen?
Thank you so much. Wow, amazing. I love that. It's really easy if you think about it, no? And going back to the multiple scenarios that we play in our mind, always on the worst that can happen, we could also say, what if I allow myself to think, maybe there's also a positive outcome of here. I've suffered a lot of things in my life, as many of us, of course, everybody. But if you think about it in retrospective, you will realize that the worst that happened to you was a blessing. Even if it's harsh, even if it was so painful, even if it marked your life forever, it was a blessing. Because you will find the gift down the road, and you will find that shaped you, that changed your perspective, and in the end, it's all a matter of perspective.
And it positions you as well.
Exactly. So, thank you so much. I love your book, reading the book.
We have an opportunity after
Yes, that's what I was going to say. We are going to have an opportunity to check on the work, and I would suggest you to read through a couple of pages and buy it if you can, because it's a really good material for your growth. Before we move into lunch, I will say that, well, I have a 10-year-old boy, and every time I pick him up from school, I was like, hey, what was the favorite part of the day? And he said, lunch, Mom. In this case, this is not going to be our favorite part, but we can enjoy that. So, a couple of things I want to remind you. One is that if you parked in Aston, remember you have a limit that you will need to move your car before you get a ticket. We don't want tickets. What's the worst that can happen? You'll find copies of Fearless Within on the table. We're going to have about 20 minutes lunch, 30 minutes max. So feel free to find yourself your way to the table and grab whatever you fancy, and enjoy the time also to connect amongst each other, and perhaps you make fantastic new connections that can be long-lasting. So enjoy, bon appetit!
Sorry. Mientras hacen la cola, dejen entrevistar. A ver cómo nos vamos. Hi everyone. I hope that you're doing great. I hope that you can hear me. Right now, I'm going to check the audio. So let me know if you can hear me properly, if you can see me properly. You talk to me. You talk to me. Tell me how you look like. Okay, wait a minute. Do you think that isn't here a good place? Yeah, he will be fine. I'm gonna wait for Gabi. Yeah, she can come. And we're gonna check everything. So, again, as I said, this is the Awaken the Self Conference. Awaken Conference. And as you can tell, I'm feeling terrible. Sorry about that, guys. But this conference, these kind of rooms where you can find people that make you feel comfortable, that you can be vulnerable with them, that you can be who you truly are, and you can share your experiences. You can share how do you feel. You can share your flaws. I already took a pill, but allergies are like this. So I just need to wait for the pill to stay to access to my system. So you can tell that camera is not for everyone every day all the time. Even for me that I'm all the time in camera, but definitely you can tell that today is not the best day where I can show my face. But here I am. Why? Because sometimes you need to just show yourself to the camera. You need to obviously step out your comfort zone. In my case, you'll be in my bed today. But I needed to share this moment is a great opportunity for me to share with you things that are happening here locally in Bournemouth. So it's not just that I'm always like in London or in different countries around the world, different cities showing the events that are happening there with entrepreneurs, with different people that wants to resonate with our channel. But today I'm finally local in Bournemouth to share this masterclass, which is called Awaken the Self Conference. Um, this is not just like a sugarcoat, it's a actually personal development is for real. We're actually talking facts in this event where you step out, as I said, your comfort zone to take that leap. And here I am. I have I will try to find Gabby to interview her. I think that she's coming. Gabby, Gabby, come on. Okay, so stay here, please. You need to be really close. You need to uh, sit really close, really, really close. Sit, no, sorry. Head. Here. Because otherwise you will not sit. Okay, so first of all, say hi to the camera and present yourself a little bit. So who you are, obviously one of my best friends, my supporter, my mentor. She actually was the first person who believed in me regarding marketing. She helped me to get my first job in marketing field, and since then I've been doing that. And she actually was my boss. Do you remember that? A couple of times, but the first time that we actually met, she was. We met the first day that I went to the.
Yes.
Wow, it's been a long journey. Like I don't know, 9 years, 8 years.
Can you believe it? So far, no?
Okay, so her name is Gabriela Concha. She's a life coach,
Transformational coach.
transformational coach, and she obviously support a lot of businesses like yours to obviously grow yourself internally, because it's important that we take care about our employees, about our mental health, about our inner self, and that's what she have a lot of knowledge about. So can you tell a bit how did you develop this knowledge and your background?
Yeah. Thank you. So I was working in marketing for quite a while. I also have a background in graphic design. But many years ago, I was exploring the possibility of improving my mindset and my neural connections because you are framed you are wired all the time to certain or specific patterns and behaviors. And I was always wondering, how can you reach growth and have that consistently through your life and sustainable, no? So I went down the route of neurolinguistic programming, and I certified myself, don't worry, and I certified myself as a coach, personal and for corporate. And since then, I started to develop more and more. I became a life coach as well, breath work,
Everything.
all sorts of. But in the end, it's more about how much can you explore your mind in order to get the best of it, no matter the environment. Doesn't matter if it's on a personal area or a professional area. Once you reach internally your true potential, you can make conscious decisions that are in your best interest. And of course, if you are part of an organization, those best interests will be also aligned to the corporate life that you're pursuing. So
She won't let me ask the questions. I'm not
You
like
said-
this.
You said introduce yourself. Like,
I'm not-
give me the mic.
I've never interrupt like this, but because I know her, that's why I'm doing it, okay? I'm not that unprofessional, but
No, don't worry about it. Tomorrow you can. Tomorrow I'll give you the mic back. Like that's it. Let's do it like that.
I mean, I need to stop her because I know how long she can speak. So we can have conversations for over, I don't know, like
Great.
2 hours.
No, come on.
Over
Days,
the
months.
phone, over the phone.
Yeah, totally.
So, okay, because this is the moment where we're going to eat, so we're having lunch, I just wanted to talk to you super quick about how do you feel today in this event, what is this event about, and how do you find about the event?
Yeah. So this event is called Awaken the Self, and it's about how you take fear instead of to bring you down, to feel it as a fuel to help you reach higher ceilings, let's say. So far the event has been amazing. I had the opportunity to be the host of the event, and we have fantastic panelists that have shared insights, they have shared their work, and they have shared tools that are very useful, very simple, and very useful to implement in our day-to-day lives. And yeah, it's so far a fantastic experience.
Of course it is. Thank you so much. I would like you to leave a final message for everyone to, first of all, love themselves, to contact you and to reach you out. And if we have any people that are creating something, as you should be doing now, because that's what my channel is about, how can they start developing their inner love?
Yeah. So, well, there's a couple of things. One way of touching into your self love or unconditional self love is using gratitude as a tool, because we are too harsh to ourselves. And too many times we hold ourselves down for things that are not even relevant anymore. So when you start developing unconditional self-love, you understand that even your flaws, your mistakes, your errors, all that darkness that has been part of your life has shaped you into the identity that you are today. If you can take something from it and you cannot connect to unconditional self-love yet, then be grateful for the opportunity of existing today, of breathing, of experiencing this that we call life, and allow yourselves to live fully until you can explore your best potential or your best possible potential. And there's only one way to discover that, and it's through internal analysis and finding what have you done so far that got you to the place that you are. And then from there, there's only a matter of choice. Yeah?
Okay, and where can we find you?
Okay. So I wrote a book. It's called The Power in Me. It's coming up soon.
Ooh, we have a scoop. I love when we have scoops in this channel.
So yeah, you can join my waiting list. It's going to be released soon, but you can find me on Instagram, The Power in Me official. Just a technicality. But yeah, and if you want to explore more, you can reach out on the link in the bio, and perhaps we can work together.
Fantastic. Definitely, I recommend her a lot. So you can carry on, you can have your lunch, and I will come back around and I'm going to check who is available over there. So I'm going to just explore the area. I'm going to keep asking who is available to talk to me at the moment. How are you feeling, guys? Is there anything that you would like to share with me? Bear with me 2 seconds. Yes, I picked someone. I love this. So, can you step here because of the angle? Let me check if he is. Yes. You look good. You look good. Don't worry. Okay, so my name is Bely. I have a YouTube channel for entrepreneurs, and it's amazing the work that you've done today. You made us talk about our, let's say, insecurities. That's something that is keeping us outside our comfort zone, which is something really important. So, can you tell me a little bit about your background and who you are? Tell the people who is Emmanuel.
Okay, great. My name is Emmanuel. I'm Nigerian. I've had a background in human resources, talent acquisition, talent management. I've also tried to help small businesses, small and medium-sized businesses, just grow and be better.
Fantastic. I love that because that's what we care about. You, people like you. So, because we want to help entrepreneurs to develop themselves, can you tell me one key message that the majority of your clients has? So, what's that pain point that you develop the best?
I would say clarity. Clarity on who you are and what you do. So if I was going to use one line to explain my business and the products and the services I have, and it needs to just be as clear as possible. That's the one. Then two, don't overthink anything. Like just everything needs to be simple. Payment processes need to be simple and multiple. The ways to get people to pay you money, it needs to be as simple as possible. If I click a website and they're asking for too much information when I'd rather just click and pay, I'm going to leave the website. If you go to a business and they say, oh, cash only, no card, I'm going to leave. So make multiple methods of payments and all of them as simple as possible, and also clarity on what the service or the product is.
So, when should I reach out to your business? Which issue should I have to say, okay, I need Emmanuel to fix my business?
So my business is tailored more to people who are trying to hire. So if you're at that space where you're trying to get staff, you're trying to build for your staff, then maybe reach out to me. And if you're if you're a sole entrepreneur and you just want clarity around, what am I doing? What's my purpose? What's the purpose of my business? Then reach out to me.
Okay, amazing. So I will let you go because obviously we're eating.
Thank you.
So I have just one more question for you.
Yeah.
How do you find out about this event and invite everyone to come to this event?
So I found out on social media. Specifically, I don't know if WhatsApp counts as social media, but it was someone's status. I was like, oh, this looks good, and I saw more on Instagram after. I would say don't miss the next one. It's really good, and it gives you the kind of mental reset you need to go for the next 3-4 months, and it just gives you that boldness to take. The world is tough. It's a tough place we live in. There's a lot of uncertainty, but one thing that you should not have uncertainty with is yourself. So even if there's uncertainty in the economy, in the environment, in friends, in family, for myself, I should have that confidence that I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm capable of. So yeah, it's a really great program, and if you missed it, come for the next one.
Oh, amazing. One question that our channel always does, we care about authenticity.
Yeah.
So my tagline, let's say, is embrace your authenticity. Can you tell me how do you embrace your authenticity?
I have embraced the fact that I would probably mess up. So part of me not being embarrassed is because I know that something is likely to happen, and I've taken that. Something else in terms of a positive thing, not just a negative thing for my authenticity, is my accent and where I'm from. Yeah, I'm Nigerian and I have a Nigerian accent, and I've embraced that as well, and I'm not trying to auto-tune or change that when I speak.
Yeah, that's actually the main reason why I started this channel, because embrace our authenticity is exactly that. Because I have an accent, obviously. I also have an accent. I also like foreign, and I've always been a kind of outsider. So I just want to share to everyone that you can come to the UK, to Bournemouth in this case, that finally we're local. Are you local?
Yes, I am.
Okay, how do you feel about this event being local?
I love it. I love it. I think we need to restart a lot of businesses in Bournemouth.
Yeah.
We have a lot of businesses that aren't succeeding as well as they should. And Bournemouth is mostly known as a holiday spot, but there's opportunities to create all sorts of businesses here. And I like the idea of this happening here, and sort of boosting the local economy.
Okay. Okay, so let's go in to find someone else, and thank you so much. Okay, so I think that actually I would like to eat. I will see if I can find someone else that would like to talk to me, but everyone is eating, so I don't want to distract them. Oh, Mabel, come here. Mabel, do you want to talk to camera? About what? Take your stuff with us.
Yeah, of course.
Keep it.
Okay.
Come here, sir. Come here.
Okay.
Show your face to the camera.
Okay. And your mic is
I'm
working
making
there.
her. Yes, I'm making her uncomfortable. Can you come this side? And yeah, they can come comfortably because they've been on camera for quite some time, so they might be a little bit already angry with me. So, tell me, what do you do? Tell me about you.
Okay,
We're just gonna talk about you. It's really relaxed,
Beautiful.
so don't feel uncomfortable. It's really relaxed.
That's fine. I like doing this. Okay, my name is Mabel, and it's my second time filming and covering this event, the Awaken the Self Conference. This is the second one, the second edition, and it's been a delight, covering the conference. So what I do is mobile videography. So I cover events, cover conferences, book launch, parties. Just call me there.
Can you come a little bit closer, please?
All right. So Awaken the Self Conference is a great one. It's always a beautiful one to volunteer in filming and also be a participant of the event. So I'm getting a two deal. I'm serving, I'm working, and I'm also a part of the event. So it's been a great delight covering this event and seeing participants, going with renewed hope, with confidence, great self-confidence, daring to do what they've not done before and do better. It's been a delight.
And do you do anything else apart of filming?
Oh yes, I'm a YouTube content creator.
Oh, hello YouTube.
I'm a relationship coach. So
Okay.
on YouTube, my name is Mabel Santan. So check out for me. I share content and I talk to couples. I talk to people about relationships, about marriage, and about
Okay.
family. Yeah.
Okay, so this is perfect because her channel is about embracing authenticity and is for entrepreneurs. But in the case, to have a business, to have a financial support, we need to be comfortable with ourselves. So we need a partner sometimes, or we don't need a partner. It depends how we are. So it's lovely that you can share that, that you can help people. So I just have one more question, well, two more questions. One will be, how do you embrace your authenticity? What makes you feel authentic?
I think first of all, it's just being yourself. Most of the time, I want to be a particular way, but I just have to remember myself that maybe that is you, this is you. Just embrace yourself, do it your way. I'm not a very, very formal and serious person. I like having fun while doing the things I like.
Yeah.
So even when I'm speaking, coaching couples or talking about relationship issues, I just make it seem very relatable because that's how life is.
Yeah.
People really need to see what they are doing and see it in the light of their everyday activities as simple as possible. So that's how much I just have that zeal to just be myself because I know there are people out there that are looking for people that are like me. So I wouldn't like to try to be someone else. It's a daily reminder. Just remind yourself that this is you. Don't try to be someone else. It's hard, but it takes self-leadership to do that, and that's what the conference is about, right?
I love it. Yeah, I love it. Okay, thank you so much. Just the last question before I go to it, because I also need to eat. So, how do you find out about this event, and how do you feel now in this event today?
I found out about this event from Dr. Sidru Yusuf. She's a beloved friend of mine. She's a personal development coach, so she's all in all to me. That's how I found out about this event. And I said it's my second event or second edition so far. It's really a boost. I have actually been looking forward to this edition because I know after the event is going to, born this new things I want to do with myself, evolve into that different version or a higher version of myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. This is so cool because finally we are always behind the cameras and today we're in front of cameras. Woo! How do you feel being interviewed?
Oh, well, I prefer being on the other side, asking questions. So this is just one of those few moments that, I'm being asked a question. Like you, what do you do?
You're doing great. You are doing. I have a YouTube channel about authenticity and entrepreneurs. This is the one that we are at the moment. I also have a business which is called Innovisual. We support businesses to create a meaningful connection with the correct target audience through storytelling.
Visual, storytelling, things like this.
Yes,
Oh,
and
beautiful.
also-
We should collaborate and do things.
Of course, we will.
We're doing that. I just believe that everything is about how you package it. Sometimes before you see, if you don't see the behind the scenes, when you see the finished product, you don't even imagine what went into it, right? So I like that.
Yeah, okay, let's carry on with the food. Thank you so much. Okay,
You
guys.
recorded. You were.
This is the fun stuff when you're like, are you recording or not? Okay, team. I'm gonna leave this for now. I'm gonna eat a little bit. I'm gonna show this area maybe.
How are we doing? Have we all had lunch yet? Let's take 2 more minutes to wrap up.
She's very communicative.
Okay, welcome back. I hope the food was good. I love my sandwiches. I love the promo. I hope that your conversations were even better. Did you get to know many of you? Did you get to mingle? Talking about mingle, I don't know if every one of you has one of these little cards. Have you all gotten one of these cards? No? Who's missing? Who's missing a little card like this one? Can you raise your hand if you're missing one? One person. Sorry, darling. There you go. Who else? Everyone else has one? I don't have one though. Oh, I love this one. Oh, come on. Your dedication is extraordinary. Good. It's great, you know why? Because the idea of this beautiful concept, thanks to Iris, is that after this event finish, you're gonna choose that person that you met today, and you're gonna, or whomever that you wish to, and you're gonna handle that card to that person that probably deserves it, or that you think that it needs the message. So, there's many people that I will dedicate this one. Your dedication is extraordinary. So I would say, I will dedicate it to all of you. We are coughing and choking. Okay. Oops. So let's take a deep breath again. Why? Because it's always nice to regulate ourselves. And now let's talk about our next speaker. She is here to show us how internal reconstruction changes the way that we relate to the world around us. She's going to talk about presence, boundaries, and what truly means to live well with others. Let's welcome Iris, Relationships and Connections.
Hello. Gabby just said a lot of things that I'm not sure if I know what she said, but I'm going to try my best. And I want to start with a personal story, and I'm going to allow you to be open and take sides, the side that you prefer, but then try to see the story from a different perspective after we share my journey. So a couple of years ago, I was having a nice conversation with somebody. We were talking about something completely random, but it's one of those conversations where you start talking about the weather and you end up talking about animals. But suddenly the tone of the conversation started escalating. It went into an argument, and if I completely honest, at this point I don't know what we were arguing, but I remember that I was so frustrated. My chest started feeling like very, very tight, and I was so focused on making my point that I was only listening to respond and not listening to understand the situation. And then I felt misunderstood, and I was blaming the other person, and on my head, everything I could think was, if they open their mind and think better, if they could just listen to what I'm saying, if they could understand my point, everything would be fine. And we couldn't sort out anything, and it was one of those discussions that end everybody defending their point of view. But I do spend a lot of time on my head, a lot of time on my head, and that is an exercise that I recommend everybody to do. We need to understand our thoughts. And sometimes I go into my head and I don't like what I see, but some other times I get like really good outcome from it. So the real issue wasn't the discussion or the conversation. The real issue was what happened inside me in that particular moment. And what I discovered was very uncomfortable, and it was that I had fears of not being heard, fears of not being enough, and fears to be judged. And in that moment, that completely changed the way that I see relationship with other people. And it's not that easy. It's no, I'm not gonna say that it's a starting and ending point. It is a journey because we all are different. And what might work with somebody, the same approach potentially is not gonna work with any other person. And I have at home a mini me that is 2016 version. High tech, incorporated, light battery, very loud, very confident, that is keeping me on my toes. And the way that I can manage my son is always taking a step back, because when I see him, I see myself at that age. And I want to facilitate his journey rather than waiting for me 25 like me to realize how to manage relationship with other people. So the truth is, the quality of the relationship that we have with other people is deeply connected to the way that we lead ourselves. And I'm going to repeat this because I want you to kind of like digest it. The quality of the relationship with other people is deeply connected to the way that we lead to ourselves. So I'm going to ask you a question that I have been asking myself for so long, and I think I'm half of the way to the answer. But every time I think about it, I find something new that changed my perspective. So the question is, who were you before the world told you who to be? And I think that this is a powerful question. So who were you before the world told you who to be? And I'm gonna step back to our childhood, and I know we have been talking about children a lot today. I don't know, Jamie will be particularly impressed, but don't take it personal, Jamie. So, as a children, we were naturally curious, and I think Ichi, you talk about this earlier on. we were expressive, we were emotionally honest, and that is my favorite thing. We were fearless. But then, over the time, we learned what is acceptable, what is politically correct, what can get rejection, or what can get acceptance. And then, the whole game changed. Our life changed. And we, rather than develop skills, we develop strategies of belonging. We enter into survival mode. We enter into that stage where, what do I have to be accepted in this group? What do I have to be to not feel left out? And that completely changed our perspective. So, we are gonna do a little exercise. And I'm gonna ask you to find somebody in the room that you don't know. Somebody in the room that you haven't talked to today at all. And then we are gonna discuss what were you like as a child before you started adapting to the world. So, 2 minutes, find somebody in the room, somebody that you don't know, and also that will help you to burn the sandwich that you had, moving a little bit. So yeah, let's find somebody. Different table. Come on, guys. I want you to be rotating. Somebody that you haven't talked to today. We are gonna find out. We're gonna discuss what were you as a child before adapting to the world. Everybody has a partner?
How are you? Came for the last Sorry. Yeah. Should we start the conversation?
Guys, I'm gonna repeat the exercise. This might be like a little bit of confusion. So we are talking about you made me confused. What were the qualities that we had as a child? And I'm gonna add something else, like what part of those qualities is still nowadays with us? Okay, guys, how are we doing? You are just talking about the Okay, I'm calling everybody back. I know, I see like the faces of disappointed because the gossip seems to be like really good. But we have an agenda. So, Diana, go back to you. Okay, I want you, I'm not going to be to put anybody in the spot, but if you can shout those qualities that you heard, like what were you as a child? Trouble. I think that is the one that's with you. What else do we have? Expressive. I like that. What else? Anyone else? Just
Sorry, can you repeat?
curiosity.
Can you repeat?
Yeah, what were the words that you discussed, like the qualities that you had when you were a child?
Loud and outspoken.
I like that. What?
Happiness.
Happiness. Great.
Mine is stuff with cleanliness, stuff like this.
Yeah. Great. And what are those qualities, if anybody wants to share, that you had as a child that remains with you?
Just say it.
You say.
Just say it.
I'm gonna pass you the microphone because everything is really down there, but
Being selfless, not being selfish.
Oh, that's beautiful.
great. That is a great one. Anyone else?
Over there.
Curiosity. I'm still like very curious about things.
I share this one, and this is my favorite. I'm very curious. I'm very, very curious. And I think that is one of the qualities that allow me to make good connections with people, because I always wanted to know more, and not in a bad way, but I like to connect with people. I'm not like for like short conversations, but that's another conversation for another day. But what I want to say is like many of the skills that we have as a child are still with us. They are just shaped in different ways. They are just covered in a completely different part of our brain that perhaps we don't use, because we have like so much, we are overconscious of our external world that in some shapes or form cover who we truly are. So the message today is we need to go and find out the person that we were before the world told us who to be. And in that journey of finding ourselves, we need to get in love of the person that we are becoming. Because there is an amazing person waiting for you in the other side, waiting to be rediscovered, waiting to be waking up. And nobody's gonna come to rescue us. We need to do it ourselves. So that is the invitation. Our inner world shapes a lot of our behaviors. And it has like mainly three components: our thoughts, our emotions, and the most sensitive one, our nervous system. So, and when we interact with other individuals, it could be that those three elements get activated, maybe just one, but there is always one fully active. They determine the way that we react and the way that we interact. So a simple example is, I send a text message to somebody, and that person doesn't respond within the time I think it should respond. And my thoughts are, what I did wrong? What is not talking to me? It might be that it's upset for something. And then we go to our files and we start to look in what I have done wrong, what potentially could I say that is triggering this person not talking to me. And 3 hours after, this individual appeared like, oh, do you know what? I was having a nap. I'm sorry I missed your text message. But during those 3 hours, we were us pushing us ourselves, hitting us ourselves for something that we were not responsible to. And that takes me to the point where we need to get into that conscious mind that we need to focus on the things that we can control. And we cannot be responsible for the things that we cannot control. But guess what? It's easier to try to control others than control ourselves. It is easier to try to be responsible or take responsibility for everybody's else behavior and not our behavior. So when we react, most of the time it's triggered for a previous experience, for something that like a negative thought that we have about ourselves, or simply because we think negative things happen all the time. I think Gabi told us about that it's easier to go for like the negative path. And what happens after when relationships don't go through the path that we expecting to go? There is like 3 main behaviors that we assume. 1, control. And from each of these behaviors, there is a fear hidden there, trying to jump into us. So the first, control. And the fear hidden there is, if I don't control everything, this will go wrong. The second one, which is my favorite, I have to say, let me rephrase that. It used to be my favorite. It is withdrawal or isolation. And I used to do mental funeral for people. I was kind, I sell flowers too, but mental funeral. I do pretend that you didn't exist. I still loving you, but I don't want to talk to you. I'm still loving you, but don't even come any close to me, because if I see you in the supermarket, I'm going through the other aisle, and I'm not gonna say hello to you. No way. And the third there is, if I still engage in that relationship, I'm gonna get hurt. So let's build up a wall around us and don't face it. I don't have to see the person. I'm gonna put it in a block on my WhatsApp. And yes, but one day I was like, I cannot continue this is not healthy. So I went to the crematorium, make an exhibition of the body, take it out, and make it wake up, and let's carry on. But that was my favorite. And there is another one that it could be a little bit dangerous, which is people pleasing. And that is really dangerous and can take somebody go completely downhill. Because it's related to the way that we perceive ourselves. And it's almost being a yes person to be accepted. And the hidden fear there is, if I disappoint people, I might lose the connection with them. So I'm better to please them, even if I don't particularly agree with the situation. But it's easier to keep them happy than keep me happy. I can cope with it, but I cannot afford to lose that relationship. But let me tell you what, difficult conversations are necessary in every healthy relationship. They don't have to be a discussion, but they are very, very healthy. So we're gonna do another exercise now. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes, and I want to think, not too much, because I don't want you to choose what is correct or what is gonna be acceptable in this room. Should you say earlier, this is a safe space, we are all on the same boat, and I truly believe that. Try to identify your pattern when you are reacting to a situation that you don't like. It's gonna be a little bit challenging. I can see a few looks here like, she's crazy what she's asking me to do. Yeah, we are gonna identify that pattern. Control, withdrawal or isolation, and people pleasing. And we are gonna split the room. So in that corner, I want you to go, all those who identify with the control pattern. In that corner over there, I want you to go, all those who identify with the isolation or withdrawal, and that is where I'm going, the corner over there. And all those who are part of the funeral can come with me. And in this corner by the lamp, I really want people that identify as a pleaser. So let's move. So you put in between, no. If you identify with more than one, go with the one that show more often or the stronger.
How many options do we have?
3. So control here, withdrawal over there, and people pleasers here.
So should we chat about it? What are we doing?
Yes, you need to chat about how it feels. There you go. I want you to talk how that feeling looks for you. Oh my God, we can create a funerary. Wow. My team is so big.
I would try to talk about it. If you don't want
Iris, so apparently some of us we like to talk about it.
Okay, you are the host. We're going there. We're going there. Okay, guys, how are we doing? Now, let's share. So pick one person from your group to share how control looks like. Just like information, like a general message. How withdrawal looks like. How the pleaser looks like. And we have 3 people here that they will share how it looks like for them because the feeling is completely different. So I'm gonna start with the control group because they are the controllers. We need to give them the microphone. Who is doing here?
In this group, from my understanding is you are in a situation you don't like. In terms of control, you try to hang on to your argument without frustrating the situation. So now the issue is that there is something you are not agreeing with. Let's say there's an agreement, right? You want to make your point.
Yes, exactly.
But you don't want to lose the relationship, but your point has to stand. You need to understand me for us to have this agreement correctly.
No, you don't. I like it.
So,
you're in the right place.
The basic assumption we need to have is that everybody cannot think like us. In an argument, that should be a basic assumption. So if I'm having an argument with you and we have 2 different points of view, I have to basically understand that it's either I am on another level or you're on another level. And so if we're not speaking the same thing, then I create the boundary. It's not control.
Holly, give me the microphone. It is control. It's not control, but she didn't want to give the microphone back. Wow. Okay, I'm talking to my favorite group, the withdrawals one. Who's gonna do here?
I think when we're faced with conflict management, we do choose avoiding. I think the down part of it is that when we avoid, we don't grow. We're not productive, okay, because we don't give opportunity to talk, to learn. However, when you avoid, you're safe. Your mental health is safe. You stay away from trouble.
No.
Control, you had your turn already. Okay, I'm going with the pleasers. We need to listen to different voices.
Okay, for people pleasers, I think what we try to do is we try not to want to offend anybody, and we try to always want to do things the way people want them to be done, as opposed to how we want them to be done. I think one of the big problems with people pleasers is that we realize self-confidence very late because we struggle to, just want to do things how we want it to be done, as opposed to how it should be done technically, but yeah. We didn't have any of that. Thank you very much. Okay, and the three loose ends. Anyone want to share how it looks like?
Okay, for us, I think, when we don't fall into any of the three groups. Yeah. So when there's a conflict, we want to talk about it. So we will try to have the conversation, and we are open-minded. So we won't try to control you. We won't necessarily withdraw, and we won't necessarily please you, but we will communicate. And if you want to go away or do whatever you want to do, that's fine. And we just move on. But we have no hard feelings.
I think ultimately for us it's conflict resolution. Like, we want to talk and let's move on. We don't want to control the narrative.
Okay. Okay, guys, can we please come back to our spaces? Thank you very much for sharing. I think we have like some fun here. So one of the things that I would like to highlight is these behaviors, they are not something that we should be ashamed of. Rather than that, this is the starting point for self-leadership. When we recognize which are our patterns, we also have the power to recognize what way we want to take it. How do we want to lead? What I'm going to bring to this relationship? How can I shift the way that I'm interacting with others? And that possibility is in our hands. So the real change happens when we start looking into our behaviors, when we start looking into our patterns. And the pattern doesn't necessarily to disappear overnight. It is a journey. I still, like making funerals, it's just maybe the hole is not that deep anymore. I don't put a lot of sand anymore. I maybe left one hand out to pull it. It is a journey, and we need to embrace it. But we need to start the journey. Nobody's gonna come to tell us you need to change your pattern. Nobody's gonna tell us what to do. And in fact, I think if people do it, I'm gonna say like, you don't tell me what to do. So it's something that has to happen from us. So we have then, the best part of all the things that I'm telling you is the strategies, the skills that we can to develop or enhance to self-leadership our relationships. And there are multiples, don't quote me on this, but I picked my 3 favorites, which are presence, empathy, and boundaries. So when I say present is take a pause, take a deep breath before responding, before to jumping into conclusions. Listen to understand and not to respond. When we identify our patterns, we probably identify what is triggering us, and that will help. So take a minute to ask yourself the question, what I'm feeling right now? What triggers that feeling? Is the feeling real, or that feeling is part of the story that I'm telling to myself? Is that feeling a true reflection of the reality, or is something that there, my subconscious, the deja vu that 30 years ago somebody did this to me, and now this situation is reminding me that moment? With empathy, and I want to emphasize this, empathy is not an agreement. I can understand how you feel. I don't necessarily need to agree how you feel. So empathy is not an agreement, but it allows us the possibility to think how the other person is feeling.
what the other person could be experiencing. And in some way, it helps us to understand, is that moment for that person is the reality, or is part of the story that that person is telling to him or to her. And with the empathy come across, I cannot control how other people feel. I am not responsible for their feelings, but I can show empathy, I can show understanding. And the final one, which is my favorite, is boundaries. So empathy without boundaries, becoming a resentment. We need to find which are our non-negotiables. The way that I explained this to my little one was, if you are in a situation where you have to move your boundaries to accommodate a person or accommodate a situation that gives you the red flag, that is not the right way. But we need to think about those non-negotiables. And we cannot do exceptions, because if you do it for one person, you might need to do it for the whole world. So think about your non-negotiables. Think about what are those elements where are breaking points for you. And when you put these three elements together, presence, empathy, and boundaries, plus understanding your patterns, that will definitely help you the way that you show up in relationships. And I can guarantee that will give you a different perspective about how you are presenting and how are you managing your relationships. So I'm conscious of the time. I said that I spend a lot of time on my head. So some of the questions that I ask to myself is what I am bringing into with this interaction. What story I'm telling to myself, is that story true? Or is that my perception? Or is that story a result of something, a previous experience? What emotions are driving my response? And I always say that emotions and logic, they don't get on well. You cannot mix them. They don't go along. So it is important to recognize your emotions, acknowledge them, allow yourself to feel how you feel, but take time. And after a time, the logic will take over, and things will work out in a better way. So I want to conclude my long speech. Telling you that our nervous system, it works as a fire alarm. Who likes the noise of a fire alarm? I hate them. I particularly hate them. So the job is protect us, is letting us know when there is like an imminent danger around us. But in the same way as the fire alarms, let's put into context at home, the same way that the fire alarm can be activated because somebody is smoking around us, because there is a fire, the fire alarm can also get activated when we put a piece of bread in the toaster, because it's very, very sensitive. So the message today is, guys, go out and fix your fire alarm. Because we cannot be triggered for every single thing happening around us. We cannot allow our nervous system to be reactive in front of every single situation that we experience. So we need to pick our fires We need to pick the fires that we're going to be fighting for. And the rest, just let them be, because they don't belong to you. So my final exercise for you is this week, when your fire alarm goes off, take time to reflect. It is a real fire, or it is just there, like a toaster that has a bad connection and create false smoke. So that was my story, and somebody one day asked me what I would say to the younger me, and I was like, wow, have a lot of boyfriends. Party a little bit more, yeah. Travel alone. But after being this journey, I asked myself the question. And the answer is, I wouldn't tell anything. Because every single thing that the younger me experienced is a part of who I am today. And I'm very proud of it. So thank you very much.
You should be proud. We all should be proud. We deserve that pride. We deserve to say it aloud. No more, doesn't mean that you're not humble. It means that you give yourself credit. Thank you so much, Iris. It was beautiful. And I'd like to share because I missed my part. So I'm going to share it with everybody here. So one of the qualities that I had when I was early in my childhood was that I truly, truly believed in the magic of thought. I thought everything was fascinating, inspiring, and then things got in the way and made me, or turned down that colorful life into gray. And for years, I lived in black. Many of us take a long, long time to come out of the black. Some of us still there. But later, at my 40s plus, I learned that magical thought is in the simple things, like breathing. Breathing is magical. We don't see it, but it gives us life. It gives us better processing of our thoughts, oxygenates our blood, and it keeps us here. And another magical thought that we miss is that we have the opportunity of being right here, right now. And every right moment that we have is an opportunity to praise ourselves and to celebrate ourselves. So instead of keep ourselves in resentment, in suffering, maybe it's time to give us a bit more grace. And forgiveness is a good way of allowing grace, because when you are having that resentment, not necessarily you're having that resentment because you want another one to suffer. You are suffering with that resentment because it really triggers your stomach, your heartbeat, and it changes your mood, it changes your perception, and perhaps you just should free yourself from that. So some people say if you can think it, you can become it, because everything starts from one idea. And you can do miracles with one idea if you really move into that and you try every single time to move towards that dream. So we explored the self and our relationships and how sometimes we mirror ourselves in others. We perceive from others where we are inside living. And sometimes what others do is just totally contrary of what we feel. So now we're going to move on to living with values. And Chiyu is here to help us turn that intention into reality. So please, let's welcome Chiyu back to the floor.
I noticed that people have gotten less excited when it's my turn to come. When Iris was coming, everybody was sharing. But now they're like, oh God, not again. Anyway, so that you can have a reason to say not again, I'm going to invite you all to please stand. I've been asked to do a selfie video. So we will do a video, and in the video we'll say Awaken the Self Conference, everyone. Alright? Do you still like me? What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, exactly.
Alright. Is this okay? Like this
Do
or
you have
like that?
everyone?
Like this, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
like that.
Video, yeah?
Yeah, you're capturing everybody.
Can I have to move, yeah? Like that, yeah? Okay.
Yes. Oh, we can't see you.
People really want to be in this video, yeah? So I'm going on social media, I hope you know. Like that, yeah?
You shouldn't be that high. Push your face should.
Oh, yeah? Oh, this is better, isn't
Like
it?
this.
From here? Brilliant. Right.
Do you want to use that phone? Yeah.
That phone is better than the other.
You don't know first.
We are top partner.
That's a better one. And so what do I say? You say Awaken the Self Conference. Alright guys. 1, 2, 3, go.
Awaken the Self Conference.
Thank you for the acting. Remember to drop your invoices so I can send your fees. Pressure. Lovely. We're back now, and I'm hoping that we can stay as interactive as we've stayed. I hope the food was good. So far, we've looked at self-awareness, self-compassion. We've looked at fear. We did that little exercise on fear and how that shapes our thinking. We've also had a conversation about self-leadership and how that, shapes how we relate. An exercise that I'm absolutely very much excited about, we'll be bringing that back very shortly, which is the values exercise. But before we do that, I wanted to speak again into integrity. And I'll share a story. So years ago, a senior leader was mentoring a young professional who had just started her career. One day, I shouldn't have used she, because now you're thinking, oh, maybe she's the one. Anyway, back to my story. One day, she came to him frustrated. She said, I'm confused. Everyone says integrity matters in the work, but in the workplace, I see people bending rules, cutting corners, and still getting promoted. And the mentor listened carefully and then said something she never forgot. He said, integrity is not something you practice when it is convenient. Integrity is what you do when no one would know the difference if you chose otherwise. Does that definition of integrity, does it resonate with how you've always known integrity? Think about it. I'll read it again. Integrity is not something you practice when it is convenient. Integrity is what you do when no one would know the difference if you chose otherwise, right? Then he paused and added, life will present you with hundreds of small decisions, and every time you make one, you are quietly building the person you're becoming. So as part of self-leadership, I want you to understand that integrity is key, and it is what you do when no one would know the difference if you chose to do otherwise. Integrity is not built in one grandiose act or an heroic act, but in those small, tiny decisions that you make. It doesn't always have to be. For example, everybody expects me to act a certain way, eat a certain type. Let's use fasting. People are fasting now, so everybody expects a certain group of people to fast. But what do they choose to do if they were not asked to do that? And staying true to what, if they had the opportunity to choose otherwise,
staying true to that, to their conviction and their commitment. Speaks a lot about their integrity. Yes, so our values elimination exercise. On your tables, you have the value sheets. And we have loads and loads of values there. This is going to be very practical. I hope everybody has a pen and everybody has a paper. The values sheet. Anyone lacking? Right, so we're going to look at those values. What we want to do is circle 10 that resonate with you. Look through the values and look at the ones that resonate with you. We want to do this exercise as a way of aligning our values, and that way we can continue to grow in confidence. So I'll pause for a minute for you to take a moment to reflect and see 10 and circle out 10 values that resonate with you. One more minute. 1 minute to go. If you need 1 more minute, just say it. But otherwise, we can move. Okay, someone needs 1 more minute. All right, let's do it. Okay, I hope you all have your 10. It's a game of elimination. So now we're reducing the 10 to 7. So this forces you to prioritize which are more important. So look at the 10 that you have circled out and knock off 3. Yeah. Is that difficult to do? Okay. Do we need longer time for this one or shorter? Okay, we're okay, yeah? Did we manage to knock the 3 out? Oh, okay. All right, 1 more minute to knock off just 3. It's okay. Yeah? So you should be left with 7 now. If you have 7, say carry on. Just say carry on. Okay, this table, there's nobody speaking. Carry on, yeah? Okay. Mushope, this is not a thesis. She's analyzing. Well, that's really good that you're taking your time to reflect on that one. Yeah, but we have to even go further down. Now I need you to reduce to 4. Yeah. So knock off 3 more. And that should leave you with, the very strong ones that these ones are your non-negotiables. So we're looking for 4. Do we have our 4?
Yes.
Ah, okay, that was good then. Should we go further?
Yes.
Yeah, we're doing 2. Sorry to bust your bubble. We're doing 2. We're going down to 2. Actually, on the page, if you flip the page, the one behind has 4 boxes. So those 4 that you have, please write them in the 4 boxes, and then you highlight the 2 of the 4 that you're keeping. Do we have our 2?
Yep.
Okay, that's just one table. Somebody, you want to borrow mine? Okay.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you can have mine. Yes, sir.
I'm watching you.
And I'll leave you to process the next line. You should have 2 now that are your main.
Yeah.
Can we read out the question on the bigger box at the bottom of the page? Read it out together.
If I have these 2 things present in my life right now, I'll be feeling.
Okay. So those 2 things, those 2 values that we left as the ultimate ones, fill in that blank portion of your book with how you're feeling if you had those 2 right now. And what we're trying to achieve with this exercise is what feeling, comes out of you identifying your core values. Does it make you feel calm? Does it make you feel confident? Does it make you feel like you have some clarity? Or does it make you feel aligned? I'm hoping that it doesn't make anybody feel confused. Okay. So clarity, calmness, confidence, alignment, peaceful. And I love that one. And so that's one thing that I want you to take away at the back of your mind. If you had your core values aligned in place, how would you feel? How would you feel? That was just an exercise to get you, reflecting a bit more. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. How many people have read the book? Yeah, a few people have done that. And in that book, what Stephen Covey speaks about is the idea of private victory. We belong in a world where, we're expected to be effective and, we are expected to have excellent delivery, successful, etc. We're expected to have achieved a lot as well. But as we hopefully have identified today that we need to self-govern ourselves to be able to achieve that. To get to that point, we need to be able to self-lead ourselves. And I like how in that book, Stephen Covey, spoke about 7 habits, of highly effective people. And he spoke about the idea of private victory. Habit number 1, he spoke about being, proactive. And proactiveness is taking responsibility for your choices. And a situation where you stop blaming others for your circumstances. Own your mess-ups, essentially. Own your mess-ups. And own your wins, more importantly. I think what I've sort of noticed as I've grown older is that we're quick to recount the things that haven't worked, or how we may be failing, or how we may be trying, or how we may be getting things undone. But we're not very quick to be positive and recount our own victories. And obviously I'm digressing. Point being that at every point you are in life, you want to be able to own up to whether it is progress you're making, or whether it is a situation where you're pausing, or whether it is something that you even look back and think, actually, maybe I should have moved further from there. But point being, you want to be able to own your own choices and stop blaming others for your circumstances. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but of course you can control how you respond. Following on from that lovely exercise that Iris had put us on. Number 2, another exercise for us to do right now is to write down one challenge that you're currently facing, something that's stressing you out, absolutely stressing you out. Take your time. And how we're going to do it is we draw a big circle, right? One big circle, and then we draw a smaller circle inside it. In that smaller circle, we want to say the things that you can control. We're saying the headline is the thing that's stressing you out. So it might be that you're trying to relocate, from your present accommodation, you're trying to get into a bigger house maybe, or you're trying to even move cities, you're trying to get your child into university. What's stressing you out? Or you're trying to get committed, with your gym membership, which I'm struggling with. Whatever the case might be, yeah. Find that thing, but in that bigger box, or in the circle, in the inner circle, you want to write what you can control, and in that outside circle, you want to write what you can't control. So we're drawing a circle of control right now. So what you can control me, for example, I'm in charge of how I wake up in the morning to go to the gym, so I can control my timing, yeah? However, I may not be able to control whether I go very early, because if I have a meeting at work at that time, then I may not be able to show up. You see what I mean? So distill it down to the things that you can control and the things that you can't control. The ones you can control in the small circle, the one you can't control in the bigger circle. If you're trying to relocate, for example, it might be that you need to find an accommodation. But if your job is a constraint, then that's a much more bigger problem that you may not be able to just up and leave. So I'm just citing examples so that it can help you. It looks like we're done. And this exercise that we've just done is just highlighting and helping us focus on the things that we can control. And if we took this approach in every area of our life, for every time that we're faced with challenges, for every time we're faced with situations, and maybe not even challenges, for every time we're faced with a decision to make, adopt this mentality of compartmentalizing the things that I can control, the things that I cannot control, and that's what proactive living is all about, so that you can focus your energy on the ones that you can control, and perhaps this other one would align as well. The habit 2 that Stephen Covey spoke about was beginning with the end in mind. And this is about, vision casting, this is about intentionality as well. I like I'm a Christian, and the Holy Book, the Bible, talks about writing the vision down, making it plain on the table, so that those that see it can run with it. So if you have a vision, and that's what we do as well when we do vision boards, isn't it? Yeah. We do our vision board and we stick it on somewhere that we can always see, so that once we wake up in the morning, for example, you see what you're going for, you see what you're gunning for even, then the sight doesn't leave you, and you can continue on that trajectory. But beginning with the end in mind is that the person you want to become, a person of integrity, a person who is hospitable, for example, a person who is full of compassion, a person who is courageous, a person who is confident. You want to put that before you. So think of the end in mind. This is who I want to become. And then your decisions can become easier. Your pathway to journeying through that can become easier. Once you see the picture, then you can begin to think of, okay, how do I achieve that? How do I achieve that? We had a vision board. Did we? Was it a vision? Yeah, we had a vision class earlier in the year, and I thought that was a beautiful exercise to have experienced with others as well. So have the end in mind. Is another habit that they speak about in that sort of conversation. Now we have another exercise to do, and you have the template on your table as well. So think about 4 key roles in your life currently. Whether you are a parent, whether you are a partner, whether you are somebody's friend, whether you are a leader, whether you're a colleague, whether you're a sibling, whether you are a researcher, whether whatever it is, whether you lead a group, whether you sing, any role at all that you currently hold in your life, think up of 4 of those roles. And what I want you to do, I hope you have the right sheet, yeah? Do you have the sheet? Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. What I want you to do is think about, the name of one key person that's connected to that role. Yeah. So if you're a parent, if you've written down, so for example, if one of the roles that you wrote down is parent, the name of one person that may be key is your child. So you write the child's name under that role. If you've written down you are a colleague, maybe the name of somebody that may be key in that sort of space might be your supervisor or your team leader or your manager or your bosses or your subordinates. Or other team members. If you've written down sibling, the name of the person that may be key in that way would be your sibling as well. Maybe your brother, your sister. If you go. Yeah. Now imagine yourself. You are at your 80th birthday celebration, okay? And in that, there's a moment for people to give tribute about how fantastic you're leading your life. Yeah.
Can you tell me which kind of roles do you mean?
Okay. So in terms of the roles can be whether you are. Whether you work, if you work, for example, you can be like a team member, okay? And so a key person would be maybe another team member or maybe your boss. Are you raising your hand as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just wanted to say what I put down: a father,
yeah,
a husband,
yeah,
a colleague,
yeah,
and
a friend. You can be a friend as well.
It's because you have the role and the key person. The
yes.
key person is my mom.
Yeah, so
yeah.
As a father, the key person is Shemi, who is my son. As a husband, the key person is Shiju, who is
you just had to say that, didn't you?
So the name of the role.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Are we all clear? Okay. And have we done that actually? Do we have those names down? Ah, okay, that's good then. So back to the scenario. You're at your 80th birthday. People are giving tribute. How would you want that person to describe you? Yeah. And what, tribute would they give you? So if you've written something down about your partner and you've written down their name, e.g., Dennis, what would Dennis say at your 80th birthday? How would Dennis describe you? I think people want to share. Okay. Oh. Imagine if your dad was there. Your dad is only older than you by how many years? What if he's still around?
But the idea is to visualize. It doesn't mean that they will be there or they won't be there. It's just to think about what they will say.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. But I'll feed this back to Daddy. I'll tell Daddy exactly what you said. My dad will be very hurt. I'm joking. Well, we are. How would you want that person to describe you? So you're writing for 4 people, remember? I'll be moving us along very quickly because I know that once you've had lunch is so dreary for speakers, especially when they're hosting conferences. Once people have lunch, game over. So I know that a lot of us may now be itching to, wrap up. But yeah, we have a few more activities to go through, and then we'll be, Habit number 3 is putting first things first. And this is where your values become, your behavior. Many people know their values, like you were able to identify very quickly 10 values today. But daily distractions can tend to pull us away from them. And we can, start to neglect or forget what is essentially important to us. But putting first things first means that we're now aligning our time, we're aligning our attention, we're aligning our behavior and decisions to our priorities. So I want us to ask ourselves these questions. Feel free to write answers, feel free to ponder it in your head, no pressure. But I'm at my best when what happens? Just a few questions for us to continue to think about. And essentially, we're asking these questions to, check in with ourselves. Do we even know this person? When we started with a conversation on self-awareness and how that is important to our growth and development. And so these sort of questions help you to identify whether you even know the person. that you are. So I am at my worst when I am truly happy, when someday I'd like to be what, who. Questions like my greatest talent and best gifts are. I am happy to pass this questionnaire along because I think it's a valuable exercise that you can run with. So I'm happy to share that in an email with you guys after today. But I wanted to, post those questions for you as we carry on in the day. The final bit of activity, which is still very much writing, that we will do. Hopefully that's the last. No, maybe not. Yeah, I'm not going to go through the entire 7 habits, but I want us to lean into this exercise before we go. And it's a letter to your future self. Say that again. No, you don't have any sheets for that. But I'm hoping that everybody has a writing pad. Okay, so you can write a letter to your future self with that. And the letter is essentially you, imagining 10 years from now. Or should we still go back to your 80th birthday? Yeah. 80th birthday. All right, then, that's fine. What would you be saying about yourself? And I want you to start with something like, thank you for believing in yourself when it was easier to doubt, for example. I want you to say thank you for maybe choosing to be authentic, right? Or maybe choosing integrity. Just say thank you. If you're able to come up with 5 lines of thank yous to yourself, I think that would be amazing.
Okay. Thumbs up. Sorry, it was a short one. We're a bit running late. So, how is it going? Do you want to share one of your fears and what's the action point that you can take to diffuse or to work that fear into something that establishes agency to you?
Job loss. Job loss. So we have upskilling. Yeah. So you can do upskilling in your job, get better, make yourself a resource in your workplace, or get another job, a better one.
Okay. Do you want to share one here?
Well, one of us feel that to feel unhealthy in the future when you get older. So, so yeah, I think we can stop that to creating habits from right now to avoid any, any illnesses or any health problems, even genetic. That sometimes is a big point, but yeah, with a good habits we can try to avoid many problems like that. So.
Yeah, thank you. Do you want to share yours? Do you want to share yours?
I'll say with losing your value when you are in the world which is constantly changing. And I think at the end of the day, what we have to do is just to stay true to yourself and do what is right for you at the end of the day.
Wow. Amazing insights. Do you want to share one here at this table?
So one of the things I hope is trying to counter the negative thoughts or the source of the fear or the trigger. So I counter it by maybe speaking the positive version of it, also using the scriptures.
Reframing the situation, no? That's great. Would you like to share yours? You want to share? I'm sorry.
I was just saying that for me it's uncertainty in regards to my son's schooling. He's finishing, so I think everyone can relate, people with kids. He's finishing school, he's going to college, we don't know how he's going to cope with it. And, it's the anxiety that is being...
And the action step to...
I think it's understanding his needs and give him the tools and the guidance that he needs to achieve his, maximum potential, and then go with him in that path.
Okay. Do you want to add anything? Yeah? Okay.
So we kind of identify news, watching news as one of the triggers we have currently. And I think the only way to avoid is to stop watching news. If you do that, then you'll be out of system. You understand what's going on. But anytime you watch news, you trigger one problem or the other. There's nothing nice coming up on that session. I mean,
yeah.
So
well, that's a practical way of solving.
how do we resolve the issues?
Choose where you watch.
There's no news that you watch that is okay. There's no news that is so okay.
Well, some news are allegedly only bad news, but you know what? You can choose to just see. You can choose to just be informed, but not suffer from the information. You don't need to relate to everything. There's a little thing. Of course, this was just a practice work. Now I'm going to give you a page for each for you to take home. And you can write down your own blueprint for you to move on in life. And whenever you feel that there is a trigger, you will also design the action. Thank you so much. Now, I want you to please stand up. And now sit down. No, I'm kidding. No, one head on the, no, I'm kidding. And there is a little tree over here, and there are beautiful cards. You can come pick one card for you to go today. And in the meantime, when you come back, 1 second. If you if they run out, if they run out, there's more in here. So pick one for you to take home. And then when you come back, don't sit down, please. Do not sit down. Take the opportunity, if you have your phones in the hand, and please scan the barcodes of the posters. You can support your coaches following their work, and perhaps get in touch with them if you're happy or you would like to explore a session or anything else. Ready? Are we back to our tables and to our chairs? So before sitting down, we haven't finished yet, but we're so close. Bear with us. So underneath your chairs, random, there might be a present from all of our panelists today. And it's a free session, it's a discovery session. You will need to search it. You actually need to flip the chair. No, give me the card. It's a little present from us. It's random. There are 2 or 3 per table. So if you found it, you're the lucky winner. Yay! It's random. And it's a way to start the journey with a bit more support. Congratulations to the winners! Now, let's take a couple of minutes. Okay, let's take about 5 more minutes, just in case if you have any questions. You can just raise your hand. You can ask questions to any of your panelists today, either she, you, Iris, Emmanuel, or myself. So if anyone has a question, you feel free to raise your hand and I'll pass you on the mic and address the question to the person that you would like to ask. You can sit down. Well done to the winners. So anyone has a question that you would like to address to the panelists? I feel like the bingo reader. 11, 1, 1, double 1. Oh, sorry. Okay. Who is the question for?
Congratulations to you on your book as well. My question for you is, how did you find writing the book of Fearless was like for you? Because we are in a world where we're constantly facing fear. How did you overcome the fear of writing the book?
Well, that's an interesting question, and thank you for asking. I think, so earlier when I shared about my journey, I sort of naturally grown and developed myself into what I can call the outlier. I don't necessarily do things the conventional way, so that has been my pattern, and I think that has helped me into living my life. And I don't present this book fearless to actually literally mean that there's no fear. It just means that how are you navigating fear and how are you embracing that and positioning fear to work in your favor. So writing the book in itself is just me stepping out to doing what I would naturally do anyway. Fearless is like my 4th or 5th book actually. But in terms of the content of the book, I think very quickly, once you start reading, if it speaks into my journey a lot, because after a lot of research, I realized that we are all living the same lives. And so I know that it speaks into a lot of people's journeys as well. So it wasn't very daunting in that way, because the materials were there. The stories were there, the experiences were already there as well. So I just tapped into that. And with the research I was doing as well, gathering information from people, tapped into that, and I was able to develop that into the book. The book started, I want to say, mid last year, but I put a pause on it and then carried on towards the later part of last year. So I think in writing the book as well, it's not to say that there was no element of fear. No, it's just walking through that fear. Just, keep going. And we're here today.
Amazing, thank you.
Any more questions? Okay.
So we're talking about the different,
you need to put the mic in
ways
place.
we react,
Barbara.
the control,
Barbara.
then the mental burial, and the people pleasing. I believe that when you're truly invested in a relationship, there's a combination of all 3 of them. First, we start probably with people pleasing, trying to, get that person to understand that you're invested and that you will do whatever it takes. And then there's the control. When things don't work your way and they don't go the way we want them, then we try to get some control over the situation. And then it's the variable. And that's when you think, okay, for my own sake, for my mental health, I need to, block it completely. But you're also, like we were saying before, you're giving that person time to perhaps see things your way maybe, or try to get as invested as you are. What happens when it becomes a pattern? When you start repeating this, because it gets to the point in which you think, okay, maybe that person thought about it, let's unblock, let's get them out of the grade and give another chance and another chance, and you're in that same pattern for a long time. How do you get out of that?
That is an interesting question, because when it comes to relationship, and when it's somebody that you say that you are emotionally invested, you really don't want to lose that relationship. But the thing is, my grandma used to say, you can bring the horse to the river, but you cannot force it to drink water. So I think there is the moment when you need to spend time on your head. You need to look into the relationship and try to look it as an outsider rather than somebody that is involved in that relationship. When we take the time to look our life as an outsider, we have a bigger picture that gives us like a different perspective, that gives us a different angle. And perhaps you are going to be able to realize things that you have not seen before. When it comes to relationship, like specifically when you are people that you are close with, it can easily become in toxic relationship. And as a part of our life, emotional detox is also important. So I think if there is that uncomfortable moment when you need to make a pause and look, is this what I want for me? Rather than resolving the situation, we are hurting each other. I think Disney did a really bad work with us, because it told us that love is forever and the happily ever after, and that is the way that Disney sells the relationship. But in reality, we know that things happen, that things come across, that sometimes it's better to take distance and keep pushing for something that is taking us nowhere. So I would say, if you have tried, if you have passed for like different stages, if you know and you consciously know that you are doing your best, you are trying your best, but you are not moving forward, as selfish as it sounds, you need to put yourself first. Because, again, your relationship, not only with that person, but with the rest of the world, will depend on that relationship that you have with yourself. So it's like when you are going to, in a plane, and they say, in case that there is a pressure problem, put yourself the oxygen max and then try to help others. That is exactly the situation. You need to get oxygen yourself. You need to heal yourself to try to help others. And again, you need to think that you cannot control the other person. So I would say, take a pause, analyze the situation, come and look things from outside, and perhaps the uncomfortable is not try anymore.
Yeah, thank you so much. Any more questions? No? Okay, good. So you came here today to learn how to lead yourselves. Now it's time to put all this knowledge into practice when you go into your normal lives, because everything is very pretty until you need to put it in practice and you're full of these emotions and you want to strangle people. So you can just take a little breath and apply everything that you've learned through all these wonderful heads that have shared their knowledge with you. Now, before we step out of the doors, we're going to have a final note from Shiju, and then we can continue our work outside if you want, or if you'd like, you can approach the table to, if you haven't had the opportunity to go through the book of Shiju and maybe get it signed for you. So yeah, thank you so much.
Can we please give a round of applause to that one? Another round of applause to Iris. And of course, Emmanuel in absentia. Emmanuel has had to quickly dash out for another meeting. I also just wanted to say thank you to every single person that took time out to be here today. I know that, apart from the fact that it does something to you in terms of intentionality and owning your own narrative, being there for yourself, I know that it couldn't have been easy to want to dedicate, going on to how many hours, 6, should we say, to be here. So thank you for investing in yourself is what I would say. Thank you for coming. To everybody that has invested in today in one way or the other, a lot of work went behind the scenes. I can't even tell you how many things, several meetings were being held, people were, everybody, I really do appreciate your support. Mabel, my sister, thank you so much, calling you out here. Yeah, she did a lot behind the scenes. People were churning out their own flyers, can you imagine? They were designing stuff, Emmanuel rejoiced designing, Gabby was designing behind the scenes, Iris, everybody was doing a lot to put this day together. Larry did not leave here until about 11 p.m. last night. Thank you so much, Larry. Shemi has been here since morning. Well done, Shemi. You're an absolutely fantastic boy. Well done, Shemi. And this is just so good that at least he grows up in this space. He understands these things. So that when he's older like us, he won't be, looking for therapy left, right, and center. I'm not saying therapy is bad. I'm just saying that he's very exposed to it now. So it's not going to be like, oh my God, now I need therapy. Anyway, thank you. Thank you. I wanted to say also that you can, a lot of our resources, I think I put oh my word, you can't see that. So that's such a shame that you can't see what the link to my resources. But if you want to buy any copies of my book, please search my name online. Feels very good to say that. Am I being humble or no? It's okay. It's allowed. It's a safe space. So yeah, feel free to search my name online and you'll be able to get On Stock. So there's On Stock, there's what's the other one with the red cover? I can't remember. There's Fearless Within, there's Heal Journal as well. There's Happily Ever After Life, the first, second, and third editions as well. So yes, search on Amazon and you'll be able to purchase the books. One thing about Fearless Reading is that I've brought these physical copies here today at £10. Online is £15. So if you want to have the copies here, I think it's a good idea to get them physically before you leave. We have a course coming up. It's called the Intentional Living Lab, which I want to signpost you to. Such a shame as well. I can't get that on the... Is it? Oh, somebody's trying to sort that out. Hopefully they can, and then you'll be able to follow the link. Intentional Living Lab is a course running for 6 weeks. We are currently, we've launched it now for £199, but for other people that are not in this room, obviously it will be higher. So if you want to follow that link as well for the books. But if you want to follow that other link to access the Intentional Living Lab, please do sign up. We are capping the sign-ups for the lab very soon. So please sign up. We have Sip and Share as well. Sip and Share is something that Iris runs. Iris and I, we've had people come to that one in the past, and some of those people are in this room as well. It's just a safe space. We discuss all sorts. It's not, the first edition that we had was on menopause. So it was a lovely, lovely, brilliant experience. And Sip and Share will be happening very soon as well. So keep an eye out. I have your email, so I'll keep you abreast of everything that's going on. I wanted to say also, please stay connected. One of the beautiful things that happened from this event that I know personally is that people have developed collaborations, connections, and business, collaborations from here as well, which have gone on to thrive. So please stay connected with each other. Some people have won sessions with us. They won discovery sessions. Please, I want to say that in the next 10 days, do reach out. If you don't reach out in the next 10 days, then we can't put you in the calendar, but please do reach out in the next 10 days and we can book you a proper session for everyone that has won a gift today. Lastly, I wanted to speak about QR code that should be up as well for the feedback. Can I please ask that everybody, before you go, scan the QR code to give your feedback before you step out? This is important to help us continue to improve on what we're doing, to help us continue to serve you, to help us continue to be there for you on your journey as well. So please scan the QR code. Not so many phones came out when we were talking about the Intentional Living Lab, but there was no, yeah, we need to do that. Anyway, thank you so much is what I'm saying. And it's been lovely to have you. And I hope to see you again next year for the next edition of Awaken the Self Conference. I will be by the books for any signing. The QR code for... Yes, please. On the walls, there are QR codes to connect with the speakers as well. Please scan them and you can get directly on the pages to connect with them.
Okay, team, let's carry on with this. Once again, let's do some more. Let me know if you can hear me properly. Again, I'm gonna check on camera that we can see ourselves and that everything is working. Let's see. Testing, perfect. It's working. Okay, so I'm really so sorry because, of course, as you may know, I'm really allergic today. Let me see. Me acerco para allá más bien. Ay, gracias.
No sé si tiene, bueno, no, porque te comiste, porque te vi comiendo.
Sí.
Aquí todo el mundo come comedor. Está bien, porque ¿quieres que te lo dejen en el sitio? ¿Te lo pongo en la bolsa? Claro, no, pero que no sepa que no se te quede en la bolsa.
Por favor.
Para que no se te olvide, más que nada, ¿sabes?
Está dejando tirada.
Si te tuviera que llevar cargado, después de lo que comiste, a lo mejor me lo pienso.
¡Qué abusador! Dígame, con el... Please, can we go?
Are you doing a...
No, it's fine. Aquí que se vean los libros. Ahí donde está, para que nos veamos bien. It's okay if you can just stand over here with your books. Can you leave it a little bit?
¿No se ve el libro?
No, por eso lo había dejado lejos. Ah, bueno. Más abajo, ¿será? Sí. El stand, que sea bonito. Can you come closer, please? See you. See you. Can you come closer, please? Stay there.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was amazing. Chao, mi amor.
Chaito,
que estés bien. Igual, mi amor.
Gaby. Fine. Okay, I'm gonna see myself over here. Oh my god, we have double booked. Hey, just not kidding. Before I die. Double booked.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, you can have her now.
Thank you. Okay, can you come closer? Can you come closer? Let me see. It's a little bit delayed.
Okay.
A little bit closer.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that we were okay before. One step back. Okay. So let's gonna do it this way.
Okay.
So I am right now with CU. I'm really so sorry about my face and my. I've been having a terrible day.
You look beautiful.
Thank you. I've been having a terrible day today with the allergy. I will blame the dog of Gabby's. But yeah, it was lovely. It was amazing. It was really refreshing. So can you tell me a little bit more about you? What do you do?
Oh, I am a personal development coach and I help people to gain more clarity, confidence. Essentially, how to be the best versions of themselves is what I do. So I coach people into that sort of journey.
Fantastic. And can you tell me how did you have this idea to create this event?
Well, I know that mental health is an area that is evolving, and beautifully so. People are coming into more awareness of the mental health. But one thing that we're not really harnessing quite on the same pace just yet, and I know we're getting there. It's an evolving area. Is the conversation on development, conversation on leadership, conversation on personal growth, and all of that. And so, because that's the space that I work with, and I know that bringing people together in rooms like this is such a helpful way to kind of continue that conversation. I mean, it's cheaper for them to access because a lot of the times the constraint people have with coaching, therapy, and all of that is because of the cost of it. So I thought this is a good way to give back to the community, bring people into the room, and they can have access to however many facilitators that we are able to bring in the room.
That's beautiful. I really like that idea. Is really important right now, especially. You talk a lot about authenticity. Our YouTube channel is all about embracing your authenticity, and this is a question that I always ask to everyone. How do you embrace your authenticity?
I think the journey to embracing authenticity is first to understand and identify who you are. Who are you? Once you're able to identify who you are, then you can begin to live in that authentic self. Do you see? So who are you, essentially, is the first leg into exploring what authenticity is. And once you're able to do that, you find that authenticity is actually freedom. And I like to say that, authenticity is the bedrock of living purposefully, because you can be your best self when you're true to yourself, when you're authentic.
Beautiful. And just to wrap it up, because we have everyone is leaving now, I would like to know why is so important for businesses to be authentic or to have a leader that is authentic.
Because you can't give what you don't have. And that's what I say to leaders. When I coach leaders, I tell them that you cannot give what you don't have. So you have to evolve into that best version of yourself. You have to be, and that best version of yourself is your authentic self. So it cascades not in your life alone, but through your business as well. And it speaks into your employees, it speaks into your offering, it speaks into your values, it speaks into how you interact with people, your customers, etc. So it is a very, very big deal for leaders and businesses, I think.
Fantastic. And how can we come back to this event? When is the next one, and how can we reach out to you?
So this event happens annually. It happens every year, and so the next one is coming up next year, March. Is when we tend to do it because the weather is just nicer around March, isn't it? So we want people to come out more, and they're able to do that better around this time of year.
Yeah.
We don't want to do it in the summer because people are busy as well. So we just found a balance that works. And so next year we'll be back for the conference.
How can we find you?
I'm on social media. I'm everywhere on social media. Shiju Yusuf, spelled SIJU. YUSUF. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook. What's the other one? YouTube, everywhere.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day, and thank you for everything. It was amazing to have you here.
Thank you so much, Bely. It's been lovely to have you too. Thank you.
Thank you. So I just want to say thank you everyone for watching this, and see you soon. Bye. Well, maybe I can wrap it up just a little bit more in here before I left, because I think that it's like I need a closure. So we learn in this event how important it is, obviously, to learn from ourselves, to learn from our inner self, and obviously impersonate that human being that we are, that we truly are. So make sure that you embrace yourself, that you learn who you are, that you can find the key characteristics that you have, and then you can talk to other people, you can liderate, you can become a leader that you want to be, and obviously you can improve your business. If you have any questions regarding business, regarding entrepreneurship, and regarding this path that we are walking through, talk to me. The social media channels you can find there underneath in the comment section. And thank you for watching. Bye. Now the